And, you know, it's still the biggest deception of all, the greatest fraud, is that Christ is back. And Lucifer has been in control for eons. He's been in control of all things, especially the media. And we know, again, through this Christopher story, he reports, he's kind of the good guy intelligence that's been operating since 1969, and he reports that 80% of the time spent at the Pentagon is on the internet, spying on the likes of you and me, that the anti-spyware, all of these software programs there to protect us, and Avast and all of these ones, are actually designed to spy on us for the Pentagon, and they're watching our every move through the optic fibres in our computers, and they know what colour of our living room walls are. And he himself, as Christopher Historian, uses by comparison, an extremely expensive software program to protect his computer, but he wouldn't use anything else because he knows that Pentagon is watching, and it's all their programs to spy on us. So we're kind of getting off the track here, and of course, talking about the silver screen and the cinema and this latest movie that's been released, the biggest theatrical hoax of all time has been the moon landing. And as you know, that it could never have happened and never will happen. Oh, and this relates back to the movie too, which is talking about space travel, like that the guys from Earth had to travel through space for something like 6 years to get to Pandora. Well, it can't happen because the Van Allen belt is a radiation belt above the Earth, and it's about 10,000 miles thick, and you're toast going through it. A nanosecond, once you're vaporized as a human being. And it was all about deception. One of the many hoaxes this last century. As you're all aware, Brian and I have taken the cure for AIDS and malaria and all bloodborne diseases, including cancer, into Papua New Guinea, where people are recovering from these things. As Nick's reports, on the water alone, the colloidal silver in the water alone, that we taught them how to treat the water up there, and they've been sending it to Fiji and up into the highlands, people flying down from the highlands just to get the water. So that's been happening all throughout 2009, and it can't be stopped. That's the witness that their lies are exactly that, lies. And yes, had just had in there, you didn't hear any Papua New Guinea native talking about UFOs or aliens. Actually, they would look at you very strangely, thinking, what kind of an idiot are you, at the mention of them. And that photograph you just saw in the last slide, of course, is David Cooper, the doctor, head of St Vincent's Hospital in Sydney, and he was a stooge who was interviewed by the ABC television the same time they interviewed us, and yes, he named every one of the electromagnetic treatments that we were using, but categorically says they do not work. There he is. Doctor, yeah, the United Nations, they'll say anything for money. Yes, the winds of change have begun. Winds of change have certainly begun to turn against them. Okay, back to the infamous moonwalk. Now we've got Neil Armstrong, who was born on August the 5th in 1930, and then we've got Buzz Aldrin, born January 20th, 1930. Brian's doing some calculations there. Their combined ages on that day, July 20th, 1969, was 28,645 days, or an average of 39.22 years, or a total combined age of 78.45. Now, what does it all mean? 78.45 in the Hebrew dictionary from 77.43 means a pit, especially as a trap. Destruction, corruption. Destruction, ditch, grave, pit. Their average age, 39.22 years, or a total combines an age of 78.45 years. So we've got 3922 in Hebrew from 3212, meaning a journey, and get a load of this, Hebrew Dictionary 3212, a primitive route, compare 1980 to walk. Just amazing. Okay, I'll show you in the next slide that the shadow of the moon on July 20th, 1967, the Apollo 11 would have landed in the dark, pitch black. On the way to the moon, the darkness covered 66.6% of the visible moon's surface. Let's take a look.
So that would have been, as they started their approach to go around to land on the 20th, it would have been 66.6% of the moon's surface.
Right.
It's totally black.
Right. That's what it would have looked like.
So that little box there, that is Apollo
Yes.
17 to the top, Jerusalem. If you transplanted all this to the Earth, which I have done for a specific reason, I was in Chingola on that day, which I put onto the moon's surface, which is the latitude and longitude on the Earth transposed to the moon's surface.
What I'm saying there is that the box is where they actually landed Apollo 11, and I was in Chingola, Zambia on that day, and there's a reason for that. I'll show you just now.
That's what it looks like. They're all the spots transposed.
So you're going from 11 to 12 to 14 to 15, 16 to 17, down to Chingola, back up to Jerusalem to the North Pole.
Right. The lunation pinpoints that the Apollo, meaning Lucifer, must plan the landing to be in the dark, as a message for those in high places aware of the stealth, deception and monetary fraud ripping off billions. This whole fraud was brought about to steal billions and billions of dollars that did not go into a landing on the moon and a space expedition. It went in, a small portion of it went into making a very bad B-grade movie in a studio, and the rest of it was stolen. And it was diverted into war arms programs by the Pentagon and their contractors. The movie was made in MGM Studios in London. And, yeah. Brian, why was he in Chingola on that date, July the 20th? Yeah.
When you go from Apollo 11 to Apollo 12 to 14, because 13 was aborted, to 15 to 16 to 17 to Chingola to Jerusalem, then to the North Pole is 5547 miles, which is in the Greek concordance the word
Spells out Christ. That's what it's all about.
That's why I was on that date in Chingola, Zambia. Most of you would have no idea or have heard of that name at all.
Is it still known the same?
It's still called Chingola.
It's still called
It was
Chingola.
called in Rhodesia at one time. So there's how it looks if you transpose the distances and longitudes and latitudes onto the Earth's surface. By pointing up to Jerusalem.
So no matter what they do, no matter what evil they plan, it all spells out the Christ on the earth.
As I said, Lucifer, give it your best shot. I'll be there to straighten all that.
Basically what I'm saying is that give Lucifer its due, it's clever, give it its best shot, and I'll outsmart it, no problem.
Hello, Lucifer.
Now, the point here is if they had landed on that point, and they was just as the light was going across the lander, the length of the shadows would be hundreds of feet long. But when you look at this, you see that there's the flag waving in the wind.
In the wind.
Because
With-
the shadow of the flag is only